Hello, budget bakers. We are back again with another delicious budget-friendly recipe. So we are going to make flan today. Let me tell you what, the first time I had this, I was blown away. It's been many, many, many years. And the other day, I was craving flan. So I made one and it was so good. And so I brought some to work and it disappeared, gone. So I was like, all right, well, must be a good recipe. So I'm going to share it on my YouTube channel. So here we are. We are making flan. And you might be thinking, okay, Deanna, how much does it cost to make flan? Well, let me tell you. So this is what we've got right here. We've got sugar, vanilla, 4 large eggs, a can of evaporated milk, and a can of sweetened condensed milk. That's it. So depending on if you can catch sales to get your evaporated and your sweetened condensed milk, they're usually approximately $2 a can. Actually, evaporated milk is usually a little bit less than sweet condensed, but I'm rounding up just to keep it easy. So 2, 4, 5. I would say $5 to $5.50 to make a flan. Pretty economical. You could bring it to any holiday. You could bring it to any party, gathering, anything. It is absolutely delicious. So what we're going to do is we are going to move on over to the stove. As you can see, I've got a pot ready there. We are going to make our caramel first for the bottom. And this particular recipe goes in an 8-inch pie plate. Easy peasy. See you over there by the stove in just a minute. Here we are. I've got my pot on the stove over medium heat. And what we're going to do is I've got a wooden spoon. Actually, it's not a spoon. It's like a spatula, but this will work. Just use something wooden. And 1 cup of sugar, which is going to go right into the bottom of this pan. Yep, right in there. And we are going to stir, stir, stir. So you'll watch it as I stir. It's going to get darker and darker and darker. And this is what's going to turn into our caramel that we're going to put in the bottom of the 8-inch pie plate. So you'll know it's done when it's a golden color and clear. All right, so here we go. You'll see it's starting to clump up in the pot. And now it's got a little bit of a yellow hue to it. So it's starting to melt. And it's all going to get clumpy at first. And that is okay. Keep stirring. Just keep stirring. You don't want it to burn. Clumping up, turning yellow. That's what we want. Now it looks like we have little rocks in the pot. But it's not as easy to stir as it looks because what's happening is the sugar's melting on the bottom of the pot and it's becoming really thick. And so you have to use pressure to keep it from sticking to the bottom. It's definitely an arm workout, but it's worth it. The calories you burn making the flan, you will eat right back after you have a piece of the flan. Okay, so now, see, it's starting to look more like caramel. It's getting darker. The little bumps, lumps, rocks, whatever you want to call them, really just sugar chunks, but they're going away. And now it's starting to become liquid. Exactly what we want. Just keep stirring. And you can see that the sugar is melting. It's becoming a beautiful golden color. The chunks are going away. And that's what I meant when I said you'll know it's done when it's a golden color and clear. When I said clear, I mean clear of any of the sugar chunks, basically. So smooth and clear. Look at that. It's almost done. It only took a few minutes, maybe 5-ish. Look at that. Just keep stirring. It's almost done. And like I said, this is on like a medium heat. Medium high, really. Ooh, that is pretty. And that smells good. All right. So it's definitely golden. Just waiting for it to be completely clear. There we go. We don't want to burn it. That's for sure. Okay, now it's time to add this to our pie plate. You can see it right here. We're going to just pour it in. That's pretty. That is pretty. I like it. All right, I am going to put this in the sink. And I'm going to pour some really hot water in there. You want to make sure the water is really hot, or else it becomes like a candy and it gets hard in the pan. All right, so what we're going to do, I'll move it over here so you can see, is we're going to coat the bottom. And I like to take it up the side just a little bit. Just a little bit up the side. Perfect. Check that out. So we're going to set that aside and we're going to make the flan. So I got hot water running in my pan. It filled up my pan. I've got our caramel back here, and here's our bowl where we are going to mix the rest of the ingredients for the flan. So first things first, we need 4 eggs, okay? Now you guys know I never crack my eggs into my ingredient dish. I just don't. You just never know. So we're going to do one at a time, okay? Like I said, 4 eggs. And I've got my whisk here. We're going to whisk that all together. All right. Those in. Aren't those pretty eggs? I buy my eggs farm fresh from a local farm. And those yolks are so bright, not like the yolks you buy at the grocery store. All right, let's get this mixed up really good. Scramble your eggs like you're making French toast. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm telling you, it's a very simple recipe. But I do highly recommend that you make this exactly according to the steps I share. I guess you could make the filling for the flan before you make the sugar. You could do that. But what I'm saying is beat your eggs first before you add the milks and stuff like that. Trust me, lesson learned. All right, now we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. And we're going to get that whisked in, and then we're going to add our milks. So first we're going to add the evaporated milk. The whole can. All right, and then we're going to add our sweetened condensed milk, to which I am going to need a spatula because I don't want to waste any. So let's get this one poured in. You definitely have to scoop this one out with a spatula or you'll just miss out. Trust me on that. You want to clean that can. I wouldn't use a spoon or anything like that. I would definitely use a spatula. I mean, of course, use what you have. If you don't have one, that's fine. But chances are you do. Look at that. Look at that can. That's how you want it, friends. Okay. Now we're going to keep whisking because, let me stop. If you look in here, you can see still little parts of the egg. We don't want that. We want everything completely mixed so it's just a light yellow color. You don't want to see little pieces of the egg floating around. Now, after you put the sweetened condensed milk in, it does make it a little bit harder to whisk. So be careful. You don't want it sloshing out. I'm telling you, I am on a baking spree today. I have been baking for quite a while. Thanksgiving is coming up, and I am baking my Thanksgiving desserts today. And this is number 3. It's been a long day. I do work outside the home, and I usually film my YouTube videos on the weekends, but since Thanksgiving is coming up and I have to bake anyway, it's kind of silly not to record what I'm making. At least that's the way I think of it. Hopefully you guys have some really fun Thanksgiving plans coming up. Maybe you'll make a flan. Maybe you'll make a flan for Christmas. It's probably more like it by the time I get this video out. All right, that looks really good. All right, so take a look at that. It looks really good. All the eggs have been broken up. So now what we're going to do, let me scoot this over so you can see, is we are going to pour it in. You hear that sugar? Now the other day when I made it, it all fit. I bet you my eggs were a little bit larger this time. Okay, no, it's no problem really. So what I like to do, I have a really small, oh, where is it? Hang on, friends. Okay, I have a really small baking sheet right here. It's dirty, but I don't use it for anything except what I'm going to show you right now. So what I like to do is when I'm baking something like this that's very fragile, I like to move it onto the baking sheet, and then I pick up the baking sheet and put it into the oven. You could even put a little bit of foil or parchment paper on the baking sheet just in case it spills, but it's up to you. I do not. And this is a really, as you can see, it's a very small sheet. So I am going to get this into my oven, my 350 degree preheated oven, and I'm going to bake it for 1 hour. All right? And then I'll let you have a look. We're back with our flan, friends. I have to tell you, once again, my microphone cut out. So I am doing a voiceover here, which is why my words are not matching my lips right now. So I am taking a serrated knife and I'm running it around the edge of the flan. This is loosening it up. If you do not do this, the flan will not come out of the pie plate. And if it does, it may just hang there indefinitely. So you definitely want to loosen it up just around the edges. The bottom will be fine. And then just run it around one more time for good measure. There we go. All right. Now we're going to invert it onto our plate. So what we do now is we cross our fingers and our toes and our legs, and we hope that it comes out of the pie plate. All right, hold your breath. Ta-da! It worked. Now, here's the thing. However you flip it onto your plate is how it's going to stay. You cannot move it once you flip it out onto the plate. So you've got to make sure you try your hardest to get it into the middle of the plate, which I did not. And here you have it, friends, a delicious homemade flan.